Hey everybody, Stephen Michael Zach here, and welcome to the pre-NAB show. That's right, I am getting ready to go to NAB, and we are taking a look at cameras. Now, normally at other conventions, I have used my Osmo Action, which was just okay. But like I said in a previous video, if you got too close, it was too warped. If you got too far away, somebody would knock over my whole setup because it was just too far away from me, and I couldn't reach out and grab it. So the two cameras we're going to look at today are the Sony ZV-1 and the Panasonic G7. I know that this one is a little bit older. This does have a half an hour record time. I will do a separate video to show you how to jailbreak this so that it records more than an hour. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Panasonic first and compare some of the features. Now, Panasonic, this is an old camera. You know it because you still get a CD-ROM. Now, this kit I did buy, it does have a couple of lenses. They're terrible kit lenses. You can only use them really outside. They're just awful. We're not even gonna look at the lenses, but let's take out the camera and pull out the battery right here, which I have charged. And right away, I can feel how light this is. Now, one of the things I really like about this is the fact that it does have this fold-out screen. All the buttons, I really like the way this feels in my hand. It's a good grip. Now, the one thing is you do have to put the SD card in where the battery is as well, which is fine. I'm probably gonna have this thing on a mini ball head. But you turn this thing on. Nope, I probably should get a lens for it. So I'm gonna use my Olympus here. This is my 40-150. Not ideal for what I'm using, but it should work. And there we go, it is on. Okay, so here we are with the GH4, and right off the bat, even with a lens on, this thing is still pretty darn light. I like the fact that even when I put my 25 to 30, my 12 to 35 lens on there, even though that's a heavier lens, it still felt good in the hand. I was able to put a light on top of here. I was able to attach the Rode Wireless Go 2 here, and this thing just was pretty solid. The only thing I don't like is the viewfinder's only 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, which drives me crazy because I record in 24 frames per second, which you can do with this camera. But I do like the overall weight. It is a little bit larger than I would like, but there we go. Let's go ahead and pop open the ZV-1. Now, the big difference between these two cameras is the ZV-1 is a 1-inch sensor, so it's gonna be like an action cam. This has a micro Four Thirds sensor in it. But popping this open, this is a much newer camera. Instructions, and all you get in the box is the actual camera. The actual camera itself. Looks like you get the dead cat, the very famous dead cat, which we will not need, and you do get a USB to micro connector there, and just the battery, and that is pretty much it. That is very, very, very scaled down. So let's go ahead and, pop this open. And let's compare the sizes. Now, the one thing that's great about the Sony, and I always said that if Sony did this, I would buy one of their cameras, and that is a fantastic flip-out screen. Welcome to the club, Sony. Love the fact that you're doing this now. Do this with all your cameras. No more flippy screens. Nobody likes those. But all in all, this is much smaller. Now again, you can't change the lens here, and it does have a smaller battery, so I don't know how long that's gonna last, but then again, it's a smaller camera. Let's go ahead, and again, you need to put your SD card in the back here. Okay, so you can't really change a lot here. The f-stop is a constant, so if we zoom all the way in, we're at a 2.8. If we zoom all the way out, we are at a 1.8. So that is very interesting with this camera. Again, you can't really focus it like you can the G7, but it is super lightweight. And I do like the way that it feels. Both of these do have a microphone jack, which is great. I am not going to use the microphone that is in this camera. It is terrible. I'm going to be going in with a Rode Wireless Go, of course. But just looking at the size, I really like the size of the ZV-1, but I do like the fact you get more functionality out of the G7. So, and you probably get a better image out of the G7 because it is a micro third sensor versus a 1-inch sensor. Manual exposure mode. So the other thing with the ZV-1 is you can only record in AVHC HD or the XAVC SHD or S4K. We're going to pop into the S4K and we're going to go to 24 frames, 100 megabits per second, which is the same on the Panasonic as well. HDR settings, we want to go to 24. We'll leave that alone. We'll leave that on 30. I think it was on 60. Quality priority. I want to go shoot time priority. That said, I really don't find Sony's menus that difficult. A lot of people say the Sony menus are very difficult. I do like, this is a very, very small screen, but I do like the size of this. I think this is going to work out the best. I do like how small this is. So let's take a look at this with the top handle that I was planning to use. And let's go ahead. And now the one thing is the shoe is off to the side on this, and this does give it some weight. I may not use this. There it is. Let's go ahead and put the ball on here. There we go. And we'll screw this in like so. And there we go. That is a nice light setup. I'm going to take this top handle off because it is just too heavy for the ball head and just too awkward. And that's it. That would be the setup right here. Let's go ahead and pull this on the chair here. So that would be the setup for that. And I would just get some kind of bar here that would hold both the light and the Rode Wireless Go. Again, I'm wearing one, so. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I am doing a test here on the ZV-1. I had the phone app plugged into it. I had the Rode Wireless Go, which is now back on my camera so you can hear me. But I had all of that sort of attached, and I had it going for about 10-15 minutes, and the ZV-1 seemed to just shut down. It overheated and shut down. I was in S-Log3. I had the Rode plugged in. I'm actually using the power pack charging because the battery is dead, so I am charging the battery and using the power pack. That might have something to do with it. But I'm just gonna run the camera. Right now the back here is getting very, very warm. And I'm just testing this to see if I can get it to crash out again, if I can get it to overheat. The other thing I'm gonna test is I'm going to connect it to the phone app and see if that was the problem, to see if that's why it was overheating. So it's 10:20 p.m. I've got another 5 minutes, and this thing is warm to the touch. Up here, it's very warm. The back is this part is very, very, very warm. I'm trying to see if I can actually get the ZV-1 to overheat. I am running off a power pack. I did have the Rode plugged in, but I unplugged the Rode. So I'm testing it here to see if it's going to overheat. I think the problem was I had the screen closed for some of the time. And I think that's a no-no. You have to keep this open and let the heat dissipate. But these are the tests. Next, I'm going to do a test with I'll let the camera cool off. I'll do a test with the camera, with the screen closed, see if it overheats, and then I'll attach the phone app because that's when it initially died on me, is with the phone app. Okay, so here we are 15 minutes in. This camera is getting very, very, very warm, especially the back here. So I think and it just changed focal lengths. That's interesting. So the problem with this camera is that it is very easy to hit a button and mess something up. The buttons don't lock. It's very easy for me to accidentally hit the non-record button, and then you're not recording, and I'm not recording. There we go. See, I accidentally hit the, okay. Okay, so this camera, I was recording, it switched off because it overheated within 15 minutes. So this is definitely not going to be the camera that I take to NAB. I am getting an overheat warning already. I don't even know if the recording was going or whether it switched off because it was overheating. I don't really know because you could just graze the buttons and it turns off. So we're getting the heating warning, and it's only been 15 minutes. So this is definitely not the camera I will be taking to NAB. That rules it out immediately.